presentation for the public. So,
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the meeting. And the first order of business is the public hearing for 2 Locust Ridge. So with that, we'll turn it over to Madeline. She'll give a presentation for people who have not been to our public hearings. There's a presentation of the project, that the application, and then we'll let people provide comment to the board, and then the board will take it into consideration and probably vote on the matter if possible. So with that, I'll turn it over to Madeline.
Yes, my name is Madeline Sanchez. I'm the architect presenting the project for Kathleen Foley and John Headland, who live at 2 Locust Ridge. And John is here with us tonight. They're proposing an addition to the back of their house. So we'll talk about the neighborhood and the neighboring buildings and houses that adjoin, a little bit about the history of the house, and then I'll show you the existing drawings and the proposed drawings. And at the end, we'll look at the materials and windows and products that we're going to use for the project. So I'll share my screen. So 2 Locust Ridge on the Google map is right here. So this is Locust Ridge running east-west, and the block is bordered by Mountain Avenue and 301 or Main Street, and then behind is Cedar Street. This is a view taken on Locust Ridge from the corner of 301, and this is the house here. You can see that it's up high on the ridge. And this is from the other way, looking toward Main Street, and there's the house there. So the adjoining properties are on Cedar Street, and next door, 2 houses next door, and then 3 houses across the street. So this is 4 Locust Ridge, which is to the west of the house. And this is 224 Main Street, the side of it that is to the east of the house. And then across the street is 220 Main Street, 3 Locust Ridge, and 5/7 Locust Ridge. And then bordering on the back of the house are the neighbors on Cedar Street, 3, 5, and 7. So 2 Locust Ridge was built in 1902. The architect is McKeel. He was a Cold Spring architect, and the house is in the Queen Anne style. It has a dominant front gable and then a smaller second gable for an L shape. And then it has a front porch that swings around. It's asymmetrical. And at all of the gables, we have these half round Palladian windows. This is the survey. So here's Locust Ridge, and then there's the house here with the porch that wraps around. And at the back of the house is a small addition that was built in 2007. And we are proposing to add a second floor to that 1-story piece. And this structure already conforms with all of the current zoning. So we don't need anything other than historic review approval for this project. So this is the area of work at the rear of the house. There's that small addition that was put on in 2007. It's 13 feet by 13 feet, and that's the back of the original house. And this is the north side of the house, which is the left side if you're looking at it from the front. And we'll be doing some work onto that facade as well. And even though most of the work is at the back of the house, you can see it from the public ways. So from Locust Ridge, as you're walking, you'll be able to see it from there. And on Route 301, you'll be able to see it on top of this. So you'll see it in that space. And then from Cedar Street, there are 2 views, this view and that view. So you'll be able to see that second floor come up there. So in 2007, they did that addition. And when they did that, they pulled off all of this siding. This is actually asbestos siding, which was very common to cover up the old homes. And they also, these are the original windows, which were also covered up with the storm windows. So when they pulled off that an old porch that was there, they saw that there were horizontal clapboards and a ridge beam that was here, and then the corner board. And also they saw that on the second floor, there were cedar shingles, small cedar shingles. The hope one day is to remove all of this asbestos siding and restore the house to its original. But for this application, we're just going to be doing this portion here. So these are some, this is a photograph, if you can see it, from 1922. This is a photograph of 224 Main Street. Behind it is 2 Locust Ridge, and you can see how the bottom floor was a different material than the second floor. So some details of the existing house that we're going to be using for the addition. All the windows are 1/1, which means that there's 1 pane and 1 pane. And then this is the window trim, the casing, which is a flat 4-inch casing. And then this is the historic sill. And there are other details that we're going to emulate. One is this colonial cornice and eave molding and the half round gutters that are there. There's also brick foundation around the original house. And when the addition was done, they just used concrete masonry block foundations. So we're going to be putting a veneer onto that. So that'll continue around. So for the history of the house, McKeel in 1907 published a portfolio of all of his designs. And so many of the designs are in Cold Spring. And I didn't realize this. His houses are all over the village, and they're really quite remarkable. And this one is 220 Main Street. And then this is 224 Main Street. So these are neighbors. And right along on Locust Ridge is 8 Locust Ridge, which is a McKeel design, and another house on Locust Ridge, which is 12 Locust Ridge. But they're all over, not just on Locust Ridge. There's around Fishkill Avenue, Mountain Avenue. Anyway, there are too many to even show you here. But the reason why we're looking at these is because I wanted to take some clues from the McKeel portfolio for what we're going to do for the addition so that it blends in with the McKeel language and vocabulary. So the Foley Headland house is a combination of this design number 15 and number 16. It has that cutaway bay and the dining room. It has, you know, the dominant gable, the L-shaped plan. And then 8 Locust Ridge, which is design number 16, has the shingles on top and the clapboard on the bottom. McKeel also uses these small square windows, and he uses little punched openings up against these very large 1/1 windows. So on 8 Locust Ridge, you can see those square windows. And you can also see that he uses windows that are ganged up together, that are paired. And McKeel also used the hipped roof for this piece in the back of 220 Main Street. This is a 2-story piece, very similar to what we're doing. So in order to make room for this window in the gable end, he used this hipped roof. And then on 224 Main Street, this is the original house. When this addition was put on, a hipped roof was used because there are so many other hipped roofs on the house as well. And then we also looked at how McKeel uses a variety of sizes of double hung windows on his facades. So here's a plan of the existing. This is the front of the house. So this is Locust Ridge, and this is the rear. So this is the second floor, which most of the work is happening because the addition will be going back in here. There's 3 bedrooms and an existing bath. And the whole project started because there's only 1 shower in the whole house. And they have a teenage daughter and a soon to be teenage son. And it's kind of hard to have just 1 shower. So that's how the whole project started. And so we ended up having to use this room for the new bathroom and then pushed out the master bedroom here, and the kids are going to shuffle their bedrooms around. Anyway, I'm just telling you the background story about why this project was needed. And so this is the first floor of that small addition in the back, and it has a powder room and a laundry room and a hallway to go out to the yard. And these are the elevations. So this is the east elevation, which is at the rear. The south elevation, which is as you're looking at the house to the right. And then the north elevation, if you're looking at the house, it's the left-hand side elevation. So this is that 1-story piece that we're going to be building over. So what are we proposing to do? So on the second floor, we're going to be doing some work on the interior that will necessitate moving and shifting windows around on the outside. And then on the first floor, the same thing. We're going to be taking out some walls and shifting functions around, which will affect the exterior. So this is the demolition elevation for the rear. So this window and this window will be coming out, and a new smaller window will be going here, and this window will be coming out, and a larger window here. Wherever we're taking out the old asbestos shingles, we're going to be using safe practices and bagging everything up so that it's safe. And we're going to be patching with fiber cement shingles. We're not going to be putting asbestos shingles back on. So we'll look at those later when I show you the materials. So this is the south demolition elevation. So this roof's coming out. These windows will be replaced. And then on the north, this window is coming out. This window, this will be a new opening. This window's being removed and a new opening there. Okay, so what are we proposing? On the second floor, this is the 13 by 13 new master bedroom. Also want to point out that that 13-foot dimension is the same dimension as that dining room, bedroom, smaller gable end. So there's that L shape that I showed you before. So the new master bedroom, this is the bed wall with 2 small windows. And then there are going to be 4 other windows facing east and south. This is a new master bathroom with windows over the tub. And then in the bathroom, we will be shifting the window and making it smaller because we have to, when we're putting this addition in, we have to shift the bathroom window over. On the downstairs will be a new home office with windows here and a new window here. And then this is a smaller powder room with a washer, dryer, laundry condensed into that space with a new window here. So the rear elevation shows the 2 stories. This is the hipped roof that I mentioned earlier. We're doing that so that we can clear this window here. And this is the molding that will continue all around. These are 2 double hung windows, the same size and proportion as the existing double hung windows. And then on the ground floor at the office will be 2 double hung windows that are ganged up together. This door will be replaced with the same mahogany storm door. And then this is that new square small window, very similar to the McKeel small windows that I showed you. That will be an awning unit, so it opens like this. And that will be in the bathroom. So the top floor will have some cedar shingle siding. And then there's that rim board that was original. And then we'll have the horizontal clapboard on the first floor. And there's the brick for the foundation. All of this will be painted. The top layer and the bottom layer will be painted the same color. The trim will be a different color. And then, as I said, eventually all this will match that. That's the hope. This is the south elevation, showing the side view of the hip roof and the molding coming around. The top, the second story being the cedar shingles, bottom story horizontal clapboard, and then that rim joist. These windows match these. The north elevation, so this is that bed wall in the bedroom, and these are two small windows on either side of the bed above the nightstands. This is a small window in the office, an awning unit, and a small window in the powder room. And these are two of the same type of window above the tub in the master bathroom. This is the roof plan showing that hip-shaped roof. And then you can see that that volume matches this volume. So these are the specifications. Sorry, it's crooked. So the windows will be LePage. They're going to be wood double hung and awning units. The screens will be wood. The siding, as we mentioned, is the clapboard, the cedar shingles. The roofing will be architectural asphalt shingles, the gray color to match existing. The brick veneer will be an aged brick to match existing, and the trim, the 4-inch, and the painted corner boards. Molding will match the existing. The gutters will match the existing 5-inch half round galvanized aluminum gutters. And then this is the specification for the material to patch the old siding. So these are the catalog cuts for the windows. This is the Prestige collection by LePage. This is what the double hung window looks like. And this is the awning unit here. So that's the flat casing, the historic sill. And then when the windows are ganged up together, there'll be a space mold between them. They're not mold together, they're individual units, but there'll be a vertical piece. And then these are the wood screens. These are details for the typical double hung window, the pair, the typical awning window, and the paired awning window, which we have up in the bathroom. So this is the material that we're going to use for patching. It's the GAF weatherside fiber cement siding. So it's basically that old siding material, but it doesn't have asbestos in it. It's just fiber cement. So that's all I have to show. And we look forward to hearing comments from neighbors. And thank you.
All right, thank you, Madeline. Okay, excuse me. So with that, I will now open it up to comment from the public. Please state your name and your address slowly so that you know, the people taking minutes can in fact document that. You know, so I will open it up to any questions from the public.
Yes, hello, Roger Hoffman here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can. Go ahead,
Yes,
Roger.
hi, everybody. Yeah, Roger Hoffman here at 224 Main Street. I am the applicant's south elevation basically faces my home. I have reviewed the application, and I think Madeline touched briefly upon two of my concerns. I guess being number one, the you know, first of all, I'd like to say that I have really no issues with the scale of the addition, you know, the window choices, the roof design, locations, etc. All I believe, I feel it is certainly within the character of the existing neighborhood, which is all good. You know, my main concern is just looking at the elevations that faces my house, because now we have 3 siding materials. And I believe, Madeline, you had said that all the asbestos eventually will be removed and just will have cedar siding, you know, around every elevation of the home eventually. Is that kind of the plan? I just want to, we could touch upon that.
Yes, that is the plan. The plan is to have everything match. They just can't take it all on right now.
No, I understand that completely.
Right.
Jen will have to
But
work.
that
forever.
is the plan, and they love their home and they want to be here forever. You know, they're committed to this house.
Yeah.
And so they would like to do that, yes. And
Okay, all right. It's just-
eventually it will all match, yes.
Great, that's great news.
And they also want to replace all the existing windows because they're very old and they have a lot of drafts. I mean, they're from
Sure.
1900s, so yeah.
Sure, that's all good news, and I'm glad to hear that. My second concern, I guess you had also touched upon that briefly, is the asbestos siding. And I just want to go on record requesting that, is it a formal procedure in place for removing the asbestos siding? Maybe perhaps a note on the drawings that's going to be filed with the village that, a simple note that, all this, that indicates, all asbestos siding shall be removed by a certified asbestos company and disposed of properly. Just, just something that simple. It's a safety concern for me, my family, and of course, all the adjoining property owners on this. So how is that going to be addressed? Do you have a plan for that, or a note on the drawing perhaps?
Yes, we can certainly add a note to this drawing. The contractors that we use usually do the removal, and they follow the procedures. They have to by law. But Al, is there something that you want me to write on the drawings for now?
Well, I think this is not really our purview. I think this is something which the building inspector would normally take up. What I would suggest, Roger, is that perhaps you can send her an email, just because from my understanding, this is transite. It's a very dense siding material, which the issue with asbestos is really when it's friable. This is not friable, but it could become friable as they're removing it. So the procedure is relatively straightforward, but it would be something which, we're not concerned about asbestos as a historic material.
Okay,
So
I will reach out to Charlotte on that then and just indicate my concern.
okay,
Other than that, everything looks great, and good luck, folks.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
All right, any other comments from the public? Going once.
Al,
Yes. It's kind of hard to, I'll tell you what, Madeline, why don't you close your,
Stop share? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and that way I can see if anybody is raising their hand. All right, TM is raising their hand.
Oh.
You're on mute. TM,
I think it was Karen who was going to say something. Karen, was this about the letter that we received?
yes, there was a letter received from
Marianne Remy.
Marianne Remy or Remy. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Right.
I don't know, should that be read into the record, or do we just make it? How do we-
I will read it into the record, although Marianne herself is on the call. So if she wants to read it, she can. Otherwise, I'll read it on her behalf. Do you have
Okay.
a preference, Marianne?
You can go ahead and read it, Sean.
Okay, cool. So this was received to the village clerk, Marianne Remy, 5 Cedar Street, regarding construction of second-story addition at 2 Locust Ridge. It was received on the 25th of January. I reside at 5 Cedar Street, which is directly behind 2 Locust Ridge. Our properties share a border, and when I look out my rear-facing windows, 2 Locust Ridge fills my vista. I have reviewed the application and drawings for the construction of a second-story addition, and I support the application. My support is based on the following. 1, the addition does not increase the footprint of the house. 2, the size and scale of the addition would not make the entire house dissimilar to others in the neighborhood. 3, the planned design of the addition is consistent with the character of the existing house and others in the neighborhood and the village. And 4, the massing of the addition does not dwarf the existing structure as it sits above an existing addition at the rear of the home. Thank you, Marianne Remy.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, so with that, I will close the public hearing portion of this. I will now open it up to board members to see if any of the board members have questions or comments concerning the application. Lloyd, you're up.
I don't have any questions or no major comments, no questions. Having seen this before and workshopped it, I'm happy with pleased with the scale of the addition, the visibility from public rights of way, which I don't consider very, that it's very visible. I'll acknowledge that it is slightly, but I think it's fine. And the fenestration and materials, assuming that eventually the whole house gets changed, but I agree with those as well. We worked on some of the windows in the workshop and worked with the small square windows, which are characteristic of McKeel. And I'm very happy with what you came up with, Madeline. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lloyd. Sean?
I agree. I don't have anything. I mean, this is the third time we've looked at it and I don't really have anything else to add, but I would just state for the record that if anyone is curious about the history of this application, then they can review our minutes from our previous meetings, because there is some issues with the hand drafting and things lining up that we've talked to Madeline about already. So I'm not going to re-raise those issues, but I think it's a great, it's a low impact addition that's going to really help the functionality of the house and hopefully increase the longevity of its owner's ability to stay there. So I support it.
Okay, thank you, Sean. And my comment is that I'm also very pleased with it. I think that there were workshops where we discussed various different things. And I think that the applicant has accommodated us in a way which benefited the overall project. So unless somebody has any other comment, I'll go ahead and do I have a vote to or a motion to approve the application?
I would make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, with that, I'll call for the vote. Sean?
Aye.
Lloyd?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So Madeline, John, congratulations. Your application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
All right.
much. Thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck. with
Good
the-
night.
Good night.
Okay.
Al, I
Yes,
just have a quick question. It's Karen. Do
okay.
I need to put on the record about the certified mail receipts and all that neighbors were notified and one notified by email? Does that have to be part of your record?
I'll just, oh, sorry.
yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
I'll just put all those things into their file at Village Hall. I'll put the printouts that Madeline sent over. So it doesn't have to be
Okay.
included in the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so 3 High Street, we have another public hearing, 3 High Street. And David, I guess you're impersonating Pamela Rausch.
I'm at my
tonight.
wife's computer, yes.
Okay, so if you can give us a presentation on your on the application, please.
Yes, my name's David Hottenroth. I'm the architect for Liz Whistler and Felix Jimenez at 3 High Street. And I'll bring up the plan. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, sorry. Here's the site plan. 3 High Street is one house in from Main Street. This is the site plan showing the existing footprint of the house with the single line hatch is the existing footprint. This little triangular piece is our addition. The portion of the triangular piece in green is required us to get a variance, a setback variance, which we were granted. The main square block of the house that's 24 by 24 is 2 stories now, and there's a 1-story addition and a 1-story porch, and we're proposing to make the 1-story rear addition into a 2-story addition. That's the main architectural change to the house. This is the plan. So we will be rebuilding this rear addition because it doesn't have an adequate foundation now. But the existing 24-foot square house remains very much the same. And then a new bedroom and bathroom on top of the rear kitchen addition. And this is the elevations of the house. The front of the house facing Main Street is identical. The only change that we're proposing is to replace the window sashes in the existing openings. And I have some details of those windows to show you. The side elevations, the east and west, the existing portions of the house remain the same with only changes to the window sash again. And this upper part of the rear addition is the main architectural change. We're proposing to recreate all of the same eave details, including this small gable, small hip at the gable that's in the old part of the house on each end, each gable end. And windows are a little bit larger in the rear addition, but we tried to make alignments with the heads of the windows and the sills of the windows, just because these windows are, I mean, this is a very sweet cottage style craftsman's. I think maybe you call this craftsman Victorian, or I'm not sure exactly how you would categorize this house, but it's obviously got a lot of very sweet detail that Liz and Felix love about the house, but they would like to have a little more light in the back of the house. So we're proposing some slightly larger windows. And we're also adding a screen porch at the back where we're trying to use the existing proportions of the front porch to suggest a similar structure and construction at the back screen porch. And I can show you some photographs
Please.
of the existing house. The east side elevation, this is the elevation you'd see as you walk up High Street from Main Street, seeing the east side and a little bit of the front. The front elevation with all original detail that we're not proposing to change. And the rear addition has this later 1-story kitchen addition and a later porch addition that we'll be removing and reconstructing on a new foundation. And we're also going to make the floor level of that rear addition down a couple steps to take advantage of, to gain some ceiling height in the rear addition and to make the rear addition more continuous with the rear yard. And this next photo will show you two of the adjacent houses on the way up to High Street. Making a 2-story rear addition we have similar scale and size as what the 2 adjacent houses have done in the past too. So I think that this this proposed rear addition that does not extend beyond this line of the porch that you see here is contextual with the adjacent houses on High Street. And the window details, this is a product from Marvin Windows that is a replacement of sash in existing frames. So you can see this detail with the sashes that are ghosted in. That's the existing sashes that can be removed, and Marvin makes new tracks in the jambs that you install within the existing wood jambs, and new sashes that have very little impact to the size of the sash and the size of the glass area. It's a wood window. This shows an attached a brick mold, but we would not be changing the existing flat square casing on the existing house because we can fit these windows into the existing frames. This is in the old part of the house. And then in the new part of the house, we would use new wood Marvin windows, but the details of the sash are identical to the replacement sash. So there should be no difference between the old windows and the new windows in the final appearance. I don't know if I mentioned about all of the materials of the house, but we're taking all the cues from the existing old part of the house. The siding will be wood siding to match the old part of the house. The shingle roofing will match the existing. As I mentioned, the gable detail will match the existing. The trim details we're taking all those cues from the existing house.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll open it up to the public for any comment. Again, if you're providing comment, please state your name and address for the record, please. So with that, any comments? David, can you yeah, stop share, right? That way I can sort of see. All right, does anybody, I don't see any comment from the public. Do we have anything that we received in the mail?
No.
Okay, so with that, I will close public comment. And I will open it up to the board members. Lloyd, any comments or question?
Like the last one, we've seen this before, and I'm again very pleased with the scale, the materials, the fenestration of the windows, and the attention to the detail through the materials and the recreation of details. So I don't have any comments about this. Thank you. Looks great to me.
Thank you.
All right, Sean.
I agree with Lloyd. I think that the view from the back garden showing the second story additions on the neighboring houses is a great way of illustrating how common these types of additions are. And similarly to the previous applicant, I think it's a really low impact addition that's going to have a huge impact on the happiness of the homeowners. So we appreciate that. We just have a technical thing of we just need to have the return receipts for the hearing sent over to the clerk so we can add them to your file. So I just want to remind you guys of that while we have you on the line. But yeah, as far as the scale, it's totally appropriate, and even the change of sort of scale of the rear windows relate to what's happening on the historic portion of the house. So I think we will achieve the differentiation between the old volume and the newer volume without there being a clash or too much of a contrast, which is what we ask for anybody who's adding an addition, or in this case, replacing and adding an addition. So I think it's a perfectly appropriate application.
Thank you. All right. And as far as I'm concerned, my feelings echo essentially with what Lloyd and Sean have said about the design and the structure. I think is very nicely done, fits in very well. It's not exactly very visible from the public way to begin with. So I think it has a minimal impact on the district, and it looks quite attractive from the rear. So the only thing is I'm going to ask for a motion on the application, but David, one of the things that I'm probably going to have to add to the drawings is indications on the materials that are going to be used. Usually on the elevations, we like to call out the fact that the new siding matches the existing and so on. So I'll do that.
That is stated on the drawings.
Okay, can you?
Can I bring that up again?
Yeah, show
Yeah.
us again.
Yeah. There, can you see it?
Okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Painted wood siding to match existing, asphalt shingle roofing to match existing, eave details to match existing windows. Is that adequate, or do you?
Yes, I stand corrected. That certainly is more than enough for our purposes. So
Okay.
with that, I'm asking, do we have a motion concerning this application?
I would make a motion to accept the application as submitted.
Do I have a second? You're on mute, Lloyd.
I'll second.
Okay, with that, I'll take a vote. Sean,
Aye.
Lloyd,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So congratulations, the application was approved.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much, all.
Thank you.
So much.
Thanks.
Al will process the application over the weekend and send a notice to the building inspector, and then you can follow up with her about getting your permit.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great evening.
Right, good night.
Good night.
Okay, with that, we'll shift to business, the approval of minutes.
Well, the first item in board business is an opportunity for public comment, if there is any public who wishes to comment on anything.
Really?
Seeing none. Yes, we have added open public comment to all of our meetings now.
Okay,
Let me open up the minutes from, I didn't get these onto the site until today, so I don't know whether anybody had a chance to look at them when Karen first sent them around, but let me pull that up. Hold on one minute. All right. These are the minutes from, oh yeah, Todd wasn't here. Okay. So these are the minutes from the 19th. It's basically the applications that we looked at tonight. For 2 Locust Ridge, sorry, I need to move my windows because I can't actually hit these tabs. Okay. For 2 Locust Ridge, I think we can strike the color of the LePage windows since that's not in our purview and had no bearing on the acceptance. And there was just a little bit of a typo here. In the board comments, I did just want to make it more clear that Madeline stated that there was a drafting error on the drawing, which showed the rim board to be out of sync, but that it will match the existing.
That's good.
Does anyone else have any other comments about 2 Locust Ridge?
I don't.
No, I don't.
Okay, and then 3 High Street. Again, this is just explaining everything that we already looked at.
There's at the top of that page, Sean, there's a line that belongs above or below the header.
I think it's just when I open the
Oh, I
minutes,
see.
the header gets knocked down. So with all participants is application material shared with all participants.
Right.
The date and header, when I open them, gets moved.
And when I go to sign these, I usually work on the format a little bit, just to
Right.
clean things up.
Great.
I just had a correction here about the windows that they're it's single pane glazing. I think is more accurate than single glazed. And it said that new tracks will be added, but because they're wood windows, there aren't tracks. So I'm just saying tracks.
No, I thought that's what he said at the presentation. He says that part of the package is that they provide new tracks for the new sashes that are being installed.
Right, but they wouldn't currently have tracks. That's their wood window. So I'm just saying
Right.
that tracks will be added as opposed to new tracks will be added. Does that make sense?
Okay, all right, yeah.
Because it's a wood on wood, it's an
Yeah.
old counterweighted window.
Right.
And those are my only comments on 3 High. Are there any other questions? I corrected that thing that you just circled.
Yeah, thanks. Not even worth discussing. I have no comments.
I have no comments.
Further
What did I commented in the windows? I find it useful to know that there is a system where essentially they remove the old sash and put in the new sash, because basically one of the big things is that a lot of the old sashes are single glazed, and as I have not learned, but I felt with the recent drop in temperature, when it gets cold, and that's you really can feel it. And so I think that it does make a significant difference in the fact that they're putting in tracks. Essentially addresses the concern about rebuilding the sash in order to make it more airtight. So it's nice to see that somebody has actually worked on that, and
Right.
that's a viable option.
I don't think that we've seen anyone use, well, the only person who may have would have been Roger, who was on the call previously, but I don't recall any applications of sash replacements that came from a manufacturer like Marvin. I think Rogers were made by hand or by a restorer.
Carpenter, yeah.
I can't think of any that we've seen. So it's good to know that that's out in the market if people pursue it.
Right.
Um,
I have no other comments.
okay, great. In the workshop for 20 Church Street, just a correction that Natalie is a landscape architect, not a landscaper. And I think I had one other.
Wait, can you? Go,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I just wanted to review the comments again.
I had a correction. Oh, these were just sentence typo corrections. And Lloyd, this was again just a missing of. I did want to just specify that it was
Fine.
the garage door as drawn.
Really.
It's not
No.
the presence of the garage door that we had an issue with. So.
Right. No, it was more about the way it was rendered. Actually, the drawing showed the divisions. You could say the garage door as rendered.
Oh, as rendered, right. Right. Because on the drawing itself, it was shown in 3 parts. So. Okay, and then also my comment at the end, it's kind of hard to articulate, but what I was trying to say was that it is a house built during the mid-century period, and they are adding sort of mid-century modern elements to it. So that's, maybe this is clearer. Okay. I had no comments. Are there any other comments on 20 Church?
Nope.
That was the workshop. And I think it's clear that
I just have one.
Yeah.
Adding the elements in an elevated way. What do we mean? What do you mean? Or what do the notes mean by elevated? Is that the right word? Feel strongly about it. Fine.
No, I don't feel strongly about it. Is it more of a
appropriate, sensitive? If you
I would say it's more specific, but we actually can remove it entirely because it's really just a question of adding the elements. It's not whether it's successful or unsuccessful. It was really just
makes
adding.
better sense to me.
Okay, for the workshop for the sign.
A quick question on that application. Did they file with the ZBA?
20 Church Street?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that, actually,
I think they did.
Karen, did Jeff say that my email's closed? Let me look on my phone. I think Jeff told me that they had a meeting with Charlotte, but now I can't remember exactly what he said. He said, 20 Church Street submitted their building permit, but it was on Monday, so she wasn't in until today.
Okay. All right.
Okay, 9/11 memorial we should probably be follow the prevailing style. Any comments on this application? I had none.
No.
I'm sorry, this portion of the application.
Maybe just the materials, we discussed them, but we asked them to come back to us with those materials and details, I think.
Right. They actually are going to come back on the 16th. They weren't ready to.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Well,
what
you
do we
have
say
to
down here in
know
board
here.
comments? Made a motion where the application fee. Okay, so I guess just in the board comments, we should just say that Jay Amato will return to follow up on citing and okay. And then it's just the vote on the minutes.
Okay, do I have a motion on these minutes as they have been presented?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, approved.
Okay. I think we can probably, unless Lloyd, you have any demands, we can probably hold off on the design standard discussion until
Don't.
Andrea and Todd are here.
That sounds good. I don't have anything new to report today. So
Okay.
haven't been able to.
I'll send an email around. I did just add onto the server. I was looking to see if I could do some sort of a shared calendar and it was nonsense. So I just made a list of all of our tentatively scheduled meetings for the year. If you guys can just take a quick look at it, and if you have any conflicts that you know of now, just X out the dates you can't be there, and then just so we can kind of have an idea of whether anything needs to be rescheduled. I have the March meeting, I'm not going to be here, and the workshop in June, I won't be here. So, and obviously that'll be a bit of a moving target, but and Karen, I'll email you as well the link to it so you can add any of yours too, just so we know if you're going to be out of town anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great.
All right, so therefore, the motion that we're all waiting for,
I would make a motion to adjourn.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. An hour, not bad.
32 public hearings in an hour. Jeez.
Yeah,
Wow.
I like it. All right, guys.
Maybe we need